What actually changes between people who stay broke and people who slowly build control over money? It is not only income, it is discipline. Many people work hard, earn money, and still feel stuck in the same financial cycle because the problem is not effort, it is control. The same pattern repeats again and again with no real progress. The real issue is not just how much money comes in, but how money behaves after it enters the account. In today's video, we will break down how to build financial discipline step by step in a simple way that actually works in real life. Let's dive in. 1. Get honest with your money. The first real step in financial discipline is honesty with your own numbers. If you avoid looking at your spending clearly, you automatically lose control over it. Go through your last 30 days of transactions and carefully review where every unit of money went. Divide everything into two simple categories: needs and wants. Needs include essential expenses like rent, food, transport, and bills, while wants include emotional or lifestyle spending that is not necessary for survival. Now, calculate your income minus expenses to understand your real financial position. Most people are surprised here because money is not disappearing in one big mistake, but through small, repeated habits. Subscriptions, impulse purchases, food delivery, and unnoticed payments slowly drain money in the background. Once you see this clearly, you stop guessing and start managing. Awareness becomes the foundation of control. At this stage, do not judge yourself, just observe the pattern. The goal is not guilt, but clarity. When numbers are written down, your mind stops exaggerating or ignoring reality. You also start noticing which spending gives real value and which one gives only a short emotional hit. This simple review alone can change how you handle money going forward. Over time, this habit builds a stronger relationship with money where you are in control instead of reacting blindly. It also becomes easier to make better decisions because you already understand your patterns. Small awareness today prevents bigger financial stress in the future. 2. Build a clear reason to stay disciplined. Financial discipline cannot survive on logic alone. It needs emotional strength behind it. If your only goal is saving money, it will not last during temptation. You need a deeper reason that pulls your decisions in the right direction. Short-term goals like building an emergency cushion help reduce stress in daily life. Medium-term goals like clearing debt or starting investments create stability and direction. Long-term goals like financial freedom give meaning to every sacrifice you make today. When you write these goals down and keep them visible, they become reminders during weak moments. Instead of asking whether you can afford something, you start asking whether this choice supports your future. This shift alone reduces impulsive spending significantly and builds long-term focus. When emotions are involved, decisions become easier to control because you're no longer relying on willpower alone. Your goals start acting like a filter that removes unnecessary choices automatically. Over time, discipline stops feeling like restriction and starts feeling like protection. Even small decisions begin aligning with a bigger purpose, which keeps you consistent without constant struggle. This is where money stops controlling your behavior and starts following your direction. You begin to feel more confident because every choice has meaning behind it. Slowly, discipline becomes part of your identity, not just a temporary effort. And once that happens, financial stability becomes a natural outcome instead of a constant battle. 3. Remove willpower from the equation. Relying on willpower is one of the weakest ways to manage money because it does not stay consistent. Willpower works only when you feel motivated, but financial decisions often happen during stress, fatigue, or emotional pressure. That is why systems are far more powerful than motivation. One effective system is automatic saving, where a fixed portion of income moves out of your account as soon as money arrives. This removes emotional decision-making completely. Another important habit is separating savings from daily use accounts so that money is not easily accessible for impulse spending. Budgeting also helps when treated like a fixed structure rather than a flexible option. Saving should feel like a non-negotiable commitment, not something left at the end. Over time, this system runs in the background and makes discipline almost automatic. The real advantage of systems is that they protect you from your own weak moments. Even when your focus drops, the system keeps working in the right direction. It also reduces mental effort because you're no longer deciding everything repeatedly. Eventually, good financial behavior becomes your default setting, not a constant struggle. This is where consistency becomes easier than effort. You stop relying on mood and start relying on structure. And once structure takes over, financial discipline becomes stable and predictable instead of emotional and random. At that point, money management stops feeling like a daily battle and starts feeling like a routine. You no longer need to try hard every day because the system carries the weight for you. That is the real shift from effort-based control to system-based freedom. 4. Create friction before you spend. Most unnecessary spending happens quickly and emotionally, not after deep thinking. That is why slowing down the process is powerful. When you see something online that feels tempting, avoid buying immediately and give yourself time before deciding. In most cases, the urge fades naturally after a short delay. Removing saved payment details from shopping apps adds another layer of control because it forces you to pause before buying. Even a small delay creates awareness, and awareness reduces impulsive decisions. A simple but powerful habit is asking how many hours of work are needed to buy something. This connects money with time and effort, not just numbers. When spending feels like losing hours of life energy, decisions become more thoughtful. Over time, you shift from emotional buying to intentional buying. Small pauses like this may look simple, but they completely change how your brain reacts to money. With time, you stop reacting to impulse and start responding with logic. This is where real financial control begins to grow quietly in the background. These small barriers may feel uncomfortable at first, but they protect you from regret later. They also create space between emotion and action, which is where better decisions are made. Over time, your spending habits become calmer, slower, and far more intentional. That's how discipline quietly builds itself without forcing extreme effort. The real shift happens when waiting becomes a default reaction instead of instant buying. You begin to question purchases instead of obeying impulses. Eventually, this habit turns into natural self-control that doesn't require constant effort. Step 5. Protect your environment and mindset. Your financial behavior is strongly influenced by your environment and what you consume daily. If your social media feed constantly shows luxury spending in comparison, your brain slowly starts normalizing that lifestyle. This creates pressure to match others, even when it is not necessary. That is why controlling your digital environment is important. Unfollow accounts that promote constant buying or unrealistic lifestyles, and replace them with content that supports learning and growth. Emotional spending is another hidden trap, where people spend when they feel bored, stressed, or low. Instead of reacting through shopping, replace that habit with free activities like walking, exercise, or learning something useful. Discipline should also include balance, not punishment. When you stay consistent for a month, give yourself a small planned reward within your budget. This keeps motivation stable and prevents burnout while building long-term discipline. Real change does not come from restriction alone, but from awareness and better choices repeated daily. Over time, your environment shapes your habits, and your habits shape your financial results. The goal is not perfection, but progress that stays consistent even on difficult days. Even small changes in your surroundings can create noticeable shifts in your spending behavior. You don't need a perfect setup, just a more intentional one. Once your environment starts supporting your goals, discipline feels less like a struggle and more like a natural flow. That's where real financial control begins. So there you have it, how to build financial discipline step by step. Real change starts when you take control of small daily money decisions. Discipline is not about perfection, but consistency that grows over time. Stay consistent, believe in your progress, and keep improving step by step. Every financial decision you make today shapes the freedom you experience tomorrow. Which step feels the most difficult for you right now? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this video helped you understand money in a simple way, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more practical financial breakdowns like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.